Probably one of the biggest goals and one that seems to be the most difficult for students is multi-step word problems. These are literally word problems with more than one step. And these word problems can be addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. You will see word problems that talk about fractions, ones that include every goal. And I think that's one of the most important things I've told my kids is the goals intersect. So you really have to know all of your goals to be able to be successful. But word problems is one of the biggest ones because you'll see all of their questions when they are to take their end of grade test or their school net tests are word problems. Everything comes in a word problem form. There are very few problems that are just add this or subtract this. It's more along the lines of a word problem. So I'm going to solve a word problem, kind of doing the steps and talk it out so you can understand what it is. Here's a one that came from a school net. Allie's horse, Scout, runs 3 miles a day every day. On one of the days, Scout runs an additional 2 miles. Which equation is used to find how many days D it will take Scout to run 20 miles? Now, what you will notice is there is a letter involved, and you will see that they will see these kind of questions. Now, it's not going to ask them to solve for the letter, but it is going to ask them to figure out the equation that they would use to solve for the letter. So this is one of those. First thing I always tell them is read the question carefully. If you didn't understand what's happening, it's okay to read it again. Step 1 is to circle the key numbers, or if they're working on their Chromebook and they don't have paper pencil, they are to write the key numbers. So the 2 key numbers in this word problem are 3, 2, and D. And yes, I know D is not a number, but it is a key letter that represents a number. And then we underline the question. And again, if they are on their Chromebooks, they know to read that question. Which equation is used to find how many days D it will take Scout to run 20 miles? So we know that we need an equation to figure out the number of days to run 20 miles. So we're going to, how many days will it take us to get to that 20-mile point? Then we box our action words. Action words are words in the word problem that tell you what you need to do. And they can be a little hard to find, but they are the words that are going to help you figure out add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Every day is a action word that kind of tells you that they're going to do something by every day. So if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day they're going to multiply something. The action word of additional is pretty simple. It means to add. We got to add that additional 2 miles because that doesn't happen every day. The rest of the work happens every day, but this particular point just happens one time, adding that additional 2 miles. And the last step is evaluate and solve. So we know that we're going to run 3 miles a day times every day. We don't know the number of days, so we have to use the letter D. 3 times a day, 3 miles a day for every day, for as many days as it takes, plus that 2 additional miles that we don't do every day, but we just did one day, equals 20 miles. That is our equation. That is our answer. That is as far as it's going to ask them to go at the 3rd grade level. We'll ask them to go further at the upper level. So, things that they need to remember about multi-step word problems. There will be more than one step. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 steps. This one actually has, you're going to multiply, then you're going to add to figure out your answers. That's 2 steps. You need addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, especially. You have to be able to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And you always make sure the answer that you give will make sense. Whatever it is, whether it be equation or just an answer, it has to make sense. So these are the types of problems that you can't just read and solve. They're the types of problems that you need to actually show your work. My best advice is to encourage them to read, take their time, run through their steps, and show their work. I cannot say enough how important it is to show your work. And think about, does my answer make sense? If it's asking you how many days it takes you to run 20 miles, and you are running 3 miles a day, you running, just multiplying 20 times 3, you doing 60 days doesn't make sense. They have to be able to think and reason and make sure it makes sense.